Wilt thou be gone? Sweet Valentine, adieu. Think on thy Proteus when thou haply seest some rare noteworthy object in thy travel. Wish me partaker in thy happiness when thou dost meet good hap. And in thy danger, if ever danger do environ thee, commend thy grievance to my holy prayers, for I will be thy beadsman, Valentine.
And on a love book, pray for my success.
What?
To be in love, where scorn is bought with groans, coy looks with heart-sore sighs, one fading moment's mirth with 20 watchful, weary, tedious nights. If haply won, perhaps a hapless gain. If lost, why then a grievous labour won. However, but a folly bought with wit, or else a wit by folly vanquished.
So by your circumstance you call me fool.
So by your circumstance I fear you'll prove. Love is your master, and he that is so yoked by a fool, methinks should not be chronicled for wise.
Yet writers say, as in the sweetest bud the eating canker dwells, so eating love inhabits in the finest wit of all.
And writers say, as the most forward bud is eaten by the canker ere it blow, even so by love the young and tender wit is turned to folly, blasting in the bud, losing his verdure even in the prime and all the fair effects of future hopes. To Milan, let me hear from thee by letters of thy success in love, and what news else betideth here in absence of thy friend. And likewise will visit thee with mine.
All happiness bechance to thee in Milan.
As much you at home, and so farewell.
He after honour hunts, I after love. Thou, Julia, thou hast metamorphosed me, made me neglect my studies, lose my time, war with good counsel, set the world at naught, made wit with musing weak, heart sick with thought.
Oh, Sir Proteus. Oh, save you. Saw you, my master.
But now he parted hence to embark for Milan.
20 to 1 and he is shipped already. Oh, and I've played the sheep in losing him.
Indeed, a sheep doth very often stray, and if the shepherd be a while away.
You conclude that my master is a shepherd then, and I a sheep?
I do.
Oh, that I can deny by a circumstance.
It shall go hard, but I'll prove it by another.
Well, the shepherd seeks the sheep, and not the sheep the shepherd. But I seek my master, and my master seeks not me. Oh, therefore I am no sheep.
The sheep for fodder follow the shepherd. The shepherd for food follows not the sheep. Therefore thou art a sheep.
Oh, such another proof will make me cry back.
But dost thou hear? Gavest thou my letter to Julia?
Aye, sir. I, a lost mutton, gave your letter to her, a lace mutton. And she, a lace mutton, gave me a lost mutton. Nothing for my labour.
But what said she?
Aye.
Nod I, well that's noddy.
You mistook, sir. I say she did nod, and you asked me if she did nod. And I say, aye.
Shrew me, but you have a quick wit.
Yet it cannot overtake your slow purse.
Come, open the matter, in brief. What said she?
Open your purse, that the money and the matter may be both at once delivered.
Well, here is for your pains. What said she?
Truly, sir, I think you're hardly winner.
Couldst thou perceive so much in her?
Sir, no, I could perceive nothing at all from her. Well, not so much as a ducat for delivering your letter.
Go, begone, to save your ship from wreck. I must go send some better messenger. I fear my Julia would not deign my lines, receiving them from such a worthless post.
But say, Lucetta, now we are alone. Wouldst thou then counsel me to fall in love?
Aye, madam, so you stumble not unheedfully.
Of all the fair resort of gentlemen that every day with parley encounter me, in thy opinion, which is worthiest love?
Please, you repeat their names. I'll show my mind according to my shallow, simple skill.
What thinkest thou of the fair Sir Eglamour?
As of a knight, well-spoken, neat and fine. But were I you, he never should be mine.
What thinkest thou of the rich Mercatio?
Well of his wealth, but of himself, so-so.
What thinkest thou of the gentle Proteus?
Lord, Lord, to see what folly reigns in us.
How now? What means this passion at his name?
Pardon, dear madam, 'tis a passing shame that I, unworthy body as I am, should censure thus on lovely gentlemen.
Why not on Proteus as of all the rest?
Then thus, of many good, I think him best.
Your reason?
I have no other but a woman's reason. I think him so because I think him so.
Why, he of all the rest hath never moved me.
Yet he of all the rest, I think best loves ye.
They do not love that do not show their love.
Oh, they love least that let men know their love.
I would I knew his mind.
Peruse this paper, madam.
To Julia. Say, from whom?
That the contents will show.
Say, who gave it thee?
Valentine's page, and sent, I think, from Proteus. He would have given it to you, but I, being in the way, did in your name receive it. Pardon the fault, I pray.
Now, by my modesty, a goodly broker. What dare you presume to harbour wanton lines, to whisper and conspire against my youth?
To plead for love deserves more fee than hate.
Will you be gone?
That you may ruminate.
And yet I would I had o'erlooked the letter. 'Tis a shame to call her back again and plead her to a fault for which I chid her. What a fool is she that knows I am a maid and would not force the letter to my view, since maids in modesty say no to that which they would have the profferer construe aye. How churlishly I chid Lucetta hence, when willingly I would have her here. My penance is to call Lucetta back and ask remission for my folly past. What ho, Lucetta?
What would your ladyship?
It's near dinner time.
I would it were that you might kill your stomach upon your meat and not upon your maid.
Why didst thou stoop then?
To take a paper up that I let fall.
And is this paper nothing?
Nothing concerning me.
Well, then let it lie for those that it concerns.
Madam, it will not lie where it concerns unless it has a false interpreter.
Some love of yours hath writ to you in rhyme.
That I might sing it, madam, to a tune. Give me a note, your ladyship can set.
Why not you?
I cannot reach so high.
You, minion, are too saucy. Here is a coil with protestation. Now get ye gone and let the papers lie.
She makes it strange, but she would be best pleased to be so angered with another letter.
Nay, would I were so angered with the same. Oh, hateful hands to tear such loving words. Injurious wasps to feed on such sweet honey and kill the bees that yield it with their stings. I'll kiss each several paper for amends. Look, here is writ kind Julia. Unkind Julia, as in revenge of thy ingratitude, I threw thy name onto the bruising stones, trampling contemptuously on thy disdain. And here is writ love-wounded Proteus. Poor wounded name. My bosom as a bed shall lodge thee till thy wound be thoroughly healed. Be calm, good wind. Blow not a word away till I have found each letter in the letter, except mine own name, that some whirlwind bear onto a fearful hanging rock and throw it thence into the raging sea. Here in one line is his name twice writ. Poor forlorn Proteus, passionate Proteus, to the sweet Julia. Well, that I'll tear away. And yet I'll not. Sith so prettily he couples it with his resounding name. Thus will I fold them one to another. Now, kiss, embrace, contend. Do what you will.
Ah, Silvia. Silvia!
Madam Silvia! Madam Silvia!
Now, Sarah.
Well, she's not within hearing, sir.
Why, sir, who bade you call her?
She that your worship loves, your worship.
Why, how know you that I'm in love?
Marry, you are wont. When you laughed, to crow like a cock. And when you walked, to walk like one of the lions. And when you fasted, it was presently after dinner. When you looked sadly, it was for want of money. Well, now you're metamorphosed with a mistress that When I look on you, I can hardly think you're my master.
But tell me, dost thou know my lady Silvia?
No, she that you gaze on?
Hast thou observed that? Even she, I mean.
Why, sir, I know her not.
Dost thou know her by my gazing on her, and yet knowest her not?
You never saw her since she was deformed.
How long has she been deformed?
Ever since you loved her?
I have loved her ever since I saw her, and still I see her beautiful.
Well, if you love her, you cannot see her.
Why?
Because love is blind. Oh, like you had mine eyes, but your own eyes had the light I won't have.
What should I see then?
Well, your own present folly and a passing deformity.
Last night, she enjoined me to write some lines to one she loves.
And have you?
I have.
Are they not lamely writ?
No, boy, but as well as I can do them. Peace. Here she comes. Madam and mistress, 1,000 good morrows.
Goody, good even. Here's a million of manners.
Sir Valentine and servant, to you 2,000.
As you enjoin me, I have writ your lines unto the secret nameless friend of yours, which I was much unwilling to proceed in, but for my duty to your ladyship.
I thank you, gentle servant.
Now, trust me, madam, it came hardly off. For being ignorant to whom it goes, I writ at random, very doubtfully.
Oh, perchance you think too much of so much pain.
No, madam. So instead you please you command, I will write 1,000 times.
The lines are very quaintly writ, but since unwillingly, take them again. Hey, take them.
Madam, they are for you.
You writ them, sir, at my request, but I will none of them. They are for you. I would have had them writ more movingly.
Please you, I'll write your ladyship another.
And when it's writ, for my sake, read it over. And if it please you, so.
If it please me, madam, what then?
Why, if it please you, take it for your labor. And so, good morrow, servant.
Excellent device. Have you ever heard a better that my master, being scribe to himself, should write the letter?
How now, sir? What are you reasoning with yourself?
Oh, no, I was rhyming. Well, 'tis you that have the reason.
To do what?
Well, to be a spokesman for Madame Silvia.
To whom?
To yourself. Why, she wooed you by a figure.
Well, what figure?
By a letter, I should say.
Why, she hath not writ to me.
Well, what need she when she hath made you write to yourself?
Well, that's the letter I writ to her friend.
And that letter hath she delivered in there an end. I'll warrant you 'tis as well. Why muse you, sir? 'Tis dinner time.
Thus have I shunned the fire for fear of burning, and drenched me in the sea where I am drowned. I fear to show my father Julia's letter, lest he should take exceptions to my love. And with the vantage of mine own excuse hath he accepted most against my love. Oh, how this spring of love resembleth the uncertain glory of an April day, which now shows all the beauty of the sun, and by a cloud takes all away. Have patience, gentle Julia.
I must. There is no remedy.
When possibly I can, I will return.
If you turn not, you will return the sooner. Keep this remembrance for thy Julia's sake.
Why then, we'll make exchange. Here, take you this.
And seal the bargain with a holy kiss.
Here is my hand for my true constancy. And when that hour o'erslips me in the day, wherein I sign not Julia for thy sake, the next ensuing hour some foul mischance torment me for my love's forgetfulness. My father stays my coming, answer not. The tide is now. Nay, not the tide for tears. That tide would stay me longer than I should. Julia, farewell. What, gone without a word? Aye, so true love should do. It cannot speak, for truth hath better deeds than words to grace it.
Late will be this hour ere I have done weeping. All the Lancers have this very fault. I have received my proportion like the prodigious sun, and am going with Sir Proteus to the Imperial's court. I think Crab, my dog, be the sourest natured dog that lives. My father weeping, my mother wailing, my sister crying, our maid howling, our cat ringing her house, and all our house in a great perplexity. And yet did not this cruel-hearted Kerr shed one tear? He is a stone, a very pebble stone, and has no more pity in him than a dog. Why, a Jew would have wept to have seen our parting. Why, my grandam, having no eyes, look you, wept herself blind at our parting. Nay, I'll show you the manner of it. This shoe is my father. No. This left shoe is my father. No, this left shoe is my mother. No, yes it is so, for it hath the worst of soul. The shoe with the hole in it is my mother, and this shoe is my father, avengant on it. This staff is my sister, for look you, she's as white as a lily and as small as a wand. This hat is Nan, our maid, and I'm the dog. No, the dog is me and I am the dog. No, the dog is himself and I am the dog. Now, there it is. Now should I come to my father. Father, your blessing. Now should not the shoe speak a word for weeping. Well, I kiss him. Well, he weeps on. Now should I come to my mother. Oh, that she could speak now like a woodwoman. Well, I kiss her. Well, it is here's her breath up and down. Now should I come to my sister? Mark the moans she makes. Now the dog, all this while, sheds not one tear nor speaks a word. And yet, see how I lay the dust with my tears. Well, I will go.
Welcome, dear Proteus. Mistress, I beseech you, confirm his welcome with some special favour.
His worth is warrant for his welcome hither, if this be he you oft have wished to hear from.
Mistress, it is. Sweet lady, entertain him to be my fellow servant, your ladyship.
Oh, too low a mistress for so high a servant.
Not so, sweet lady, but to mean a servant, to have a look of such a worthy mistress.
Leave off discourse of disability. Sweet lady, entertain him for your servant.
My duty will I boast of, nothing else.
And duty never yet did want his meed. Servant, you are welcome to a worthless mistress.
I'll die on him that says so but yourself.
That you are welcome.
That you are worthless.
So, tell me, how do all from whence you came?
And have them much commended.
And how do yours?
I left them all in health.
How does your lady, and how thrives your love?
My tales of love were wont to weary you. I know you joy not in a love discourse.
Aye, Proteus, but that life is altered now. I have done penance for contemning love, whose high imperious thoughts have punished me. O gentle Proteus, love's a mighty lord, and has so humbled me as, I confess, there is no woe to his correction, nor to his service no such joy on earth. Now no discourse except it be of love. Now can I break my fast, dine, sup, and sleep upon the very naked name of love.
Enough, I read your fortune in your eye. Was this the idol that you worship so?
Even she. And is she not a heavenly saint?
No, but she is an earthly paragon.
Call her divine.
I will not flatter her.
For love delights in praises.
When I was sick, you gave me bitter pills, and I must minister the like to you.
Then speak the truth by her. If not divine, yet let her be a principality, sovereign to all the creatures on the earth.
Accept my mistress.
Pardon me, Proteus. All I can is nothing to her, whose worth makes other worthies nothing. She is alone.
Then let her alone.
Not for the world. Why, man, she is mine own. And I, enrich as having such a jewel as 20 seas, if all the land were pearl, the rocks pure gold, and the water nectar. Forgive me that I do not dream on thee, because thou seest me dote upon my love.
But she loves you.
Aye, and we are betrothed. Nay, more our marriage hour, with all the cunning manner of our flight determined of. How I must climb her chamber window, the ladder made of cords, and all the means plotted and agreed on for my happiness.
Go on before. I shall inquire you forth. I must onto the road to disembark some necessaries I needs must use, and then presently I'll attend you. Even as one heat another heat expels, or as one nail by strength drives out another, so the remembrance of my former love is by a newer object quite forgotten. Is it mine eye, or Valentine's praise? Her true perfection, or my false transgression, that makes me reasonless to reason thus? She is fair, and so is Julia, that I love, that I did love. For now my love is thawed, which like a waxen image gainst a fire, bears no impression of the thing it was. Methinks my zeal to Valentine is cold, and that I love him not as I was wont. Oh, but I love his lady too much, and that's the reason I love him so little. How shall I dote on her with more advice, that thus without advice begin to love her? 'Tis but her picture I have yet beheld, and that hath dazzled my reason's light. But when I look on her perfections, there is no reason but I shall be blind. If I can check my erring love, I will. If not, to compass her or use my skill.
By mine honesty, welcome to Milan.
Oh, forswear not thyself, sweet youth, for I am not welcome. I reckon this always, that a man is never undone till he be hanged, nor never welcome to a place till a certain shot be paid, and the hostess say welcome.
Oh, come on, you madcap. I'll to the alehouse with you presently. But Sirrah, how did thy master part with Madam Julia?
Oh, marry? After they closed in earnest, they parted very fairly in jest.
But shall she marry him?
No.
How then? Oh, shall he marry her?
Oh, no, neither.
Well, then what stands the matter with them?
Marry thus. When it stands well with him, it stands well with her.
Well, what an arse art thou? I understand thee not.
Oh, what a block art thou that thou canst not. My staff understands me.
Well, what thou sayest?
Aye, and what I do too. Look thee, I but lean, and my staff understands me.
It stands under thee indeed.
Why, stand under and understand is all one.
But tell me true, will it be a match?
Ask my dog. If he say aye, it will. If he say no, it will. If he shake his tail and say nothing, it will.
The conclusion is then that it will.
Thou shalt never get such a secret from me but by a parable.
'Tis well that I get it so. Oh, but lads, I tell thee, my master has become a hot lover.
Why, I tell thee I care not though he burns himself in love. If thou wilt, go to the alehouse with me. If thou wilt not, thou art an Hebrew, a Jew, and not worth the name of a Christian.
Why?
Well, because thou hast not so much charity in thee as to go to the alehouse with a Christian. Wilt thou go?
At thy service.
You want a pint, Crab?
To leave my Julia, shall I be forsworn? To love fair Silvia, shall I be forsworn? To to wrong my friend, I shall be much forsworn. And e'en that power which gave me first my oath provokes me to this threefold perjury. Love bade me swear, and love bids me forswear. Oh, sweet suggesting love, if thou hast sinned, teach me thy tempted subject to excuse it. At first, I did adore a twinkling star, but now I worship a celestial sun. Unheedful vows may heedfully be broken, and he wants wit, that once resolved will to learn his wit, to exchange the bad for better. Fie, unreverend tongue, to call her bad, whose sovereignty so oft thou hast preferred, with 20,000 soul-confirming oaths. I cannot leave to love, and yet I do. But there I leave to love where I should love. Julia, I lose, and Valentine I lose. If I keep them, I needs must lose myself. If I lose them, thus find I by their loss, for Valentine, myself, for Julia Silvia. I, to myself, am dearer than a friend. And Silvia, witness heaven that made her fair, shows Julia but a swarthy Ethiop. I will forget that Julia is alive, remembering that my love to her is dead. And Valentine I'll hold an enemy, aiming at Silvia as a sweeter friend. I cannot now prove constant to myself without some treachery used to Valentine. This night he meaneth with a corded ladder to climb celestial Silvia's chamber window, myself in counsel, his competitor. Now presently I'll give her father notice of their disguising and pretended flight, who all enraged will banish Valentine. For Thurio he intends shall wed his daughter, but Valentine being gone, I'll quickly cross by some sly trick, blunt Thurio's dull proceeding. Love, lend me wings to make my purpose swift, as thou hast lent me wit to plot this drift.
Counsel, Lucetta, gentle girl, assist me. And even in kind love, I do conjure thee, who art the very table wherein all my thoughts are visibly charactered and engraved, to lesson me, and tell me some good mean how, with my honour, I may undertake a journey to my loving Proteus.
Alas, the way is wearisome and long.
A true devoted pilgrim is not weary to measure kingdoms with his feeble steps. Much less is she that has love's wings to fly, and when the flight is made to one so dear, of such divine perfection as Sir Proteus.
Better forbear till Proteus make return.
Oh, knowest thou not his looks are my soul's food? Pity the dearth I have pined in by longing for that food so long a time. If thou didst know the inly touch of love, thou wouldst as soon go kindle fire with snow as seek to quench the fire of love with words.
I do not seek to quench your love's hot fire, but qualify the fire's extreme rage, lest it should burn above the bounds of reason.
The more thou dams it up, the more it burns. The current that with gentle murmur glides, thou knowest, being stopped, impatiently doth rage. But when his fair course is not hindered, he makes sweet music with the enamelled stones, giving a gentle kiss to every sedge he overtaketh in his pilgrimage, and thus, with many winding nooks, he strays with willing sport to the wild ocean. So let me go, and hinder not my course. I'll be as patient as a gentle stream, and make a pastime of each weary step, till the last step hath brought me to my love, and there I'll rest, as after much turmoil a blessed soul doth in Elysium.
But in what habit will you go along?
Not like a woman, for I would prevent the loose encounters of lascivious men. Gentle Lucetta, fit me with such weeds as may beseem some well-reputed page.
Why then, your ladyship must cut your hair.
No, girl. I'll knit it up in silken strings, with 20-odd conceited true love knots. Be fantastic may become a youth of better time than I shall show to be.
What fashion, madam, shall I make your breeches?
That fits as well as, tell me, good my lord, what compass will you have your farthingale? Why, whatever fashion thou best likest, Lucetta.
Why then, you must have them with a codpiece, madam.
Out, Lucetta, that would be ill-favoured.
A round hose now, madam's not worth a pin unless you have a codpiece to stick pins on.
Lucetta, as thou lovest me, let me have what thinkest meet and is most mannerly. But tell me, wench, how will the world repute me for undertaking so unstead a journey? I fear me it will make me scandalized.
If you think so, then stay at home and go not.
Nay, that I will not.
Then never dream on infamy, but go. If Proteus like your journey when you come, no matter who's displeased when you are gone, I fear me he will be scarce pleased with all.
That is the least, Lucetta, of my fear. 1,000 oaths, an ocean of his tears, and instances of infinite love warrant me welcome to my Proteus.
All these are servants to deceitful men.
Base men, that use them to so base effect. But truer stars did govern Proteus's birth. His words are bonds. His oaths are oracles. His tears are pure messengers sent from his heart as far from fraud as heaven from earth.
Pray heaven he prove so when you come to him.
Now, as thou lovest me, do him not that wrong to bear a hard opinion of his truth. Only deserve my love by loving him. And presently go with me to my chamber, to take note of what I stand in need of to furnish me upon my longing journey. All that I have I leave at thy dispose. My goods, my lands, my reputation. Only in lieu thou of dispatch me hence. Come, answer not, but to it presently. I'm impatient of my tarriance.
Now tell me, Proteus, what's your will with me?
No, worthy prince. Sir Valentine, my friend, this night intends to steal away your daughter. Myself and one made privy to the plot, and should she thus be stolen away from you, it would be much vexation to your age. Thus, for my duty's sake, I rather chose to cross my friend in his intended drift than by concealing it, heap on your head a pack of sorrows which would press you down, being unprevented, to your timeless grave.
Proteus, I thank thee for thine honest care, which to requite command me while I live. This love of theirs myself have often seen, haply, when they have judged me fast asleep. And that thou mayest perceive my fear of this, I nightly lodge her in an upper tower, the key whereof myself have ever kept, and thence she cannot be conveyed away.
No, noble lord. They have devised a mean how he her chamber window will ascend, and with a corded ladder fetch her down, for which the youthful lover now is gone, and this way comes he with it presently, where, if it please you, you may intercept him. But, good my lord, do it so cunningly that my discovery be not aimed at. For love of you, not hate unto my friend, hath made me publisher of this pretense.
He shall never know that I had any light from thee of this.
Adieu, my lord. Sir Valentine is coming.
Sir Valentine, stay with me a while. I am to break with thee of some affairs that affect me near. 'Tis not unknown to thee that I have sought to match my friend Sir Thurio to my daughter.
I know it well, my lord. And sure, the match were rich and honourable. Besides, the gentleman is full of virtue, bounty, worth, and qualities beseeming such a wife as your fair daughter. Cannot your grace win her fancy to him?
No, trust me. She is peevish, sullen, froward, proud, disobedient, stubborn, lacking duty. Neither regarding that she is my child, nor fearing me as if I were her father, and where I thought the remnant of mine age should have been cherished by her childlike duty, I am now full resolved to take a wife and to turn her out to who will take her in.
What would your grace have me to do in this?
There is a lady of Verona here, whom I affect, but she is nice and coy, and naught esteems my aged eloquence. Now therefore would I have thee to my tutor, for I have long agone forgot to court, and besides, the fashion of the time is changed.
Win her with gifts, if she respects not words. Dumb jewels often in their silent kind, more than quick words do move a woman's mind.
But she did scorn a present that I sent her.
A woman sometimes scorns what best contents her. Send her another. Never give her over. Take no repulse whatever she doth say. Forget you gone, she doth not mean away. Flatter and praise, commend, extol their graces. Though nearer so black, say they have angels' faces. That man that hath a tongue, I say, is no man if with his tongue he cannot win a woman.
But she, I mean, is promised by her friends unto a useful gentleman of worth, and kept severely from resort of men, that no man hath access by day to her.
Why then I would resort to her by night.
Aye, but the doors be locked and keys kept safe, that no man hath recourse to her by night.
What lets but one may enter at her window?
Her chamber is aloft, far from the ground.
Why then? A ladder, quaintly made of cords, would serve to scale another hero's tower.
Advise me where I may have such a ladder.
When would you use it? Pray, sir, tell me that.
This very night.
By 7 o'clock, I'll get you such a ladder.
But, hark thee, I will go to her alone. How shall I best convey the ladder thither?
It will be light, my lord, that you may bear it under a coat that is of any length.
A coat that is as long as thine will serve the turn.
Aye.
Let me see thy cloak.
Any coat will serve the turn, my lord.
I pray thee, let me feel thy coat upon me. What letter is this same? What's here? To Silvia. And here an engine fit for my proceeding. I'll be so bold to break the seal for once. My thoughts do harbour with my Silvia nightly, and slaves they are to me that send them flying. What's it? Silvia, this night I will enfranchise thee. 'Tis so, and here's the ladder for the purpose. Why, Phaeton, for thou art Merop's son, go, base intruder, o'erweening slave, and bestow thy fawning smiles on equal mates, and think my patience more than thy desert is privilege for thy departure hence. Begone, I will not hear thy vain excuse, but as thou lovest thy life, make speed from hence.
And why not death, rather than living torment? To die is to be banished from myself, and Silvia is myself. Banished from her is self from self, a deadly banishment. What light is light if Silvia be not seen? What joy is joy if Silvia be not by? Unless it be to think that she is by and feed upon the shadow of perfection. Except I be by Silvia in the night, there is no music in the nightingale. Unless I be by Silvia in the day, there is no day for me to look upon. She is my essence, and I leave to be, if not by her fair influence, fostered, illumined, cherished, kept alive. I fly not death to fly his deadly doom. Tarry I here, I but attend on death. But fly I hence, I fly away from life.
Run, boy, run and seek him out.
So
What's here, Sal?
Him we go to find. There's not hairs on his head, but 'tis a Valentine.
Valentine.
No,
Who then? His spirit?
neither.
What then?
Nothing.
Sir, I say forbear. Friend Valentine, a word.
My ears are stopped and cannot hear good news. So much of bad hath already possessed them.
Then in dumb silence will I bury mine, for they are harsh, untunable, and bad.
Is Silvia dead?
No, Valentine.
No, Valentine. Has she forsworn me?
No, Valentine.
No, Valentine, if she hath forsworn me, what is your news?
Sir, there is a proclamation that you are vanished.
That thou art banished! Oh, that's the news. From hence, from Silvia and from me, thy friend.
Oh, I have fed upon this woe already. Doth Silvia know that I am banished?
Aye, and she hath offered to the doom, which unreversed stands in effectual force, a sea of melting pearl, which some call tears, those at her father's churlish feet she tendered, wringing her hands, whose whiteness so became them, as if but now they waxed pale for woe. But Valentine, if he be ta'en, must die. Besides, her intercession chafed him so, when she for thy repeal was suppliant, that to close prison he commanded her.
No more, unless the next words that thou speakest have some malignant power upon my life. If so, I pray thee, breathe it in mine ear as ending anthem to my endless dolour.
Cease to lament for that which thou canst not help, and study help for that which thou lamentest. Time is the nurse and breeder of all good. Here, if thou stay, thou canst not see thy love. Besides, thy staying will abridge thy life. Thy letters may be here, though thou art hence, which being writ to me, shall be delivered even in the milk-white bosom of thy love. As thou lovest Silvia, though not for thyself, regard thy danger and along with me.
I pray thee, Lance, and if thou seest my boy, bid him make haste and meet me at the north gate.
Go, Sarah, go find him out. Come, Valentine.
My dear Silvia, hapless Valentine.
I am but a fool, look you. And yet I have the wit to think my master is a kind of a knave. But that's all one, if he be but one knave. He lives not now that knows me to be in love. And yet I am in love. But a team of horse shall not pluck that from me, nor who 'tis I love. And yet 'tis a woman. But what woman I will not tell myself. And yet 'tis a milkmaid. Yet 'tis not a maid, for she hath had gossips. Yet 'tis a maid, for she is her master's maid and serves for wages. She hath more qualities than a water spaniel, which is much in a bare Christian. Here's the catalogue of her condition. In primis, she can fetch and carry. Why, a horse can do no more. Nay, a horse cannot fetch, but only carry. Therefore, is she better than a jade? Item, she can milk. Look you, a sweet virtue in a maid with clean hands.
How nice in your lad. What news with your mastership?
With my master's ship? Why, it's at sea.
Oh, your old vice still. Mistake the word. Ah, what news then, in your paper?
There, and St. Nicholas be thy speed.
In premise, she can milk.
Aye, that she can.
Item, she brews good ale.
Oh, and thereof comes the proverb, a blessing of your heart, you brew good ale.
Item, she can sew.
This is much to say, can she sew?
Item, she can knit.
Well, what need a man care for a stock with a wench when she can knit him a stock?
Item, she can wash and scour.
Oh, a special virtue, for then she need not be washed and scoured.
Item, she can spin.
Then may I set the world on wheels when she can spin for her living.
Item, she's not to be kissed fasting in respect of her breath.
Well, that fault may be mended with a breakfast. Read on.
Item, she hath a sweet mouth.
Oh, that makes amends for her sour breath.
Item, she is slow in words.
Villain that set this down among her vices. To be slow in words is a woman's only virtue. I pray thee, out with it and place it for her chief virtue.
Item, she is proud.
Oh, out with that too. It was Eve's legacy and cannot be taken from her.
Item, she hath no teeth.
Well, I care not for that neither, because I love crusts.
Item, she is cursed.
Well, the best is she hath no teeth to bite.
Item, she hath more hair than wit, more faults than hairs, and more wealth than fault.
Oh, stop there. I'll have her. She was mine and not mine twice or thrice in that last article. Rehearse that once more.
Item, she hath more hair than wit.
More hair than wit? It may be. I'll prove it. The cover of the salt hides the salt, and therefore is more than the salt. The hair that covers the wit is more than the wit, for the greater hides the less. What's next?
And more faults than hairs.
Oh, that's monstrous! Oh, that were out.
And more wealth than faults.
Oh, well, That makes the folks gracious. I'll have her, and if it be a match, nothing is impossible.
What then?
Why then will I tell thee that thy master stays for thee at the north gate?
For me?
For thee, eh? Who art thou?
And must I go to him?
Thou must run to him, for thou hast stayed so long that going will scarce serve the turn.
Why dost not tell me sooner?
Now she will be swinged for reading my letter. An unmannerly slave who thrusts herself into secrets. I'll have to rejoice in the girl's correction.
How now, Sir Proteus, is your countryman, according to our proclamation, gone?
Gone, my good lord.
My daughter takes his going grievously.
Well, a little time, my lord, will kill that grief.
Proteus, the good conceit that I hold of thee, for thou hast shown some sign of good desert, makes me the better to confer with thee.
Longer than I prove loyal to your grace, let me not live to look upon your grace.
Thou knowest how willingly I would effect the match between Sir Thurio and my daughter.
I do, my lord.
And also, I think thou art not ignorant how she opposes her against my will.
She did, my lord, when Sir Valentine was here.
Aye, and perversely she persevers so. What might we do to make her forget the love of Valentine and love Sir Thurio?
The best way is to slander Valentine with cowardice, falsehood, and poor descent. 3 things women hold highly in hate.
Aye, but she will think it is spoke in hate.
Aye, if his enemy deliver it.
Then you must undertake to slander him.
And that, my lord, I shall be loath to do. 'Tis an ill office for a gentleman, especially against his very friend.
The office is indifferent, being entreated to it by your friend.
You have prevailed, my lord.
Upon this warrant shall you have access, where you with Silvia may confer at large, for she is lumpish, heavy, melancholy, and, for your friend's sake, will be glad of you.
As much as I can do, I will effect.
About it.
I'll wait upon your grace till after supper, then afterwards determine our proceedings.
Even now, about it, I will pardon you.
Already have I been false to Valentine, but Silvia is too fair, too true, too holy to be corrupted with my worthless gifts. When to her beauty I commend my vows, she bids me think on how I have been forsworn in breaking faith with Julia, whom I loved, and notwithstanding all her sudden quips, the least whereof would quell a lover's hope, yet, spaniel-like, the more she spurns my love, the more it grows and fawneth on her still.
What is she? All our swains come in. Holy fair, wise is she? Heaven such grace did lend. Is she kindness? She is fair. Heaven is kind. To Silvia, let us sing. Let us sing. That Silvia is excelling.
Madam, good even to your ladyship.
I thank you for your music, gentlemen. Who is that spake?
One gentle lady, if you knew him by his pure heart's truth, you would quickly learn to know him by his voice.
Sir Proteus, as I take it.
Sir Proteus, gentle lady, and your servant,
What's your will?
that I may compass yours.
You have your wish. My will is even this, that presently you hie you home to bed, thou subtle, perjured, false, disloyal man. Return, Return and make thy love amends for me. By this pale queen of night, I swear I am so far from granting thy request that I despise thee for thy wrongful suit, and by intend to chide myself even for this time I spend in talking to thee.
I grant, sweet love, that I did love a lady, but she is dead.
'Twere false if I should speak it, for I am sure she is not buried.
Yet Valentine, thy friend, survives, and art thou not ashamed to wrong him with thy importunacy?
I likewise hear that Valentine is dead.
Then so suppose am I, for in his grave assure thyself my love is buried.
Madam, if thou heart be so obdurate, vouchsafe me yet the picture for your love, the picture that's hanging in your chamber window. To that I'll sigh, to that I'll speak and weep.
If 'twere a substance, you would sure deceive it, and make it but a shadow, as I am.
I am very loath to be your idol, sir. But since your falsehood shall become you well to worship shadows and adore false shapes, send to me in the morning, and I'll send it. And so, good rest.
It hath been the longest night that I e'er watched, and the most heaviest.
Madam,
Who calls?
your servant and your friend.
Sir Eglamour, 1,000 times good morrow.
I'm thus early come to know what service it is your pleasure to command me in.
Oh, Eglamour, thou art a gentleman. Think not I flatter, for I swear I do not. Valiant, wise, remorseful, well accomplished. Thou art not ignorant what dear goodwill I bear unto the banished Valentine. Thyself hast loved, and I have heard thee say, no grief did ever come so near thy heart as when thy lady and thy true love died, upon whose grave thou vowedst pure chastity. Sir Eglamour, I would to Valentine, to Mantua, where I hear he makes abode, and for the ways are dangerous to pass, I do desire thy worthy company, upon whose faith and honor I repose. Urge not my father's anger, Eglamour, but think upon my grief, a lady's grief, and on the justice of my flying hence to keep me from a most unholy match, which heaven and fortune still rewards with plagues. I do desire thee, even from a heart as full of sorrows as the sea of sands, to bear me company and go with me. If not to hide what I have said to thee, that I may venture to depart alone.
Madam, I give consent to go along with you. When will you go?
Oh, this evening coming.
Where shall I meet you?
At Friar Patrick's cell, where I intend holy confession.
I will not fail your ladyship.
Good morrow, kind Sir Eglamour.
When a man's servant shall play the Kerr with him, look you, it goes hard. One that I brought up of a puppy. One that I saved from drowning when 3 or 4 of his blind brothers and sisters went to it. I have taught him, even as one would say, thus I would teach a dog. I was sent to deliver him as a present to Mistress Silvia from my master. And I came no sooner into the dining chamber, but he steps me to her trencher and steals her capon's leg. 'Tis a foul thing when a Kerr cannot keep himself in all companies. I would have, as one should say, one that takes upon him to be a dog indeed, to be as it were a dog at all things. If I had not more wit than he, to take a fault upon me than he did, I think verily he had been hanged for it. Sure as I live, he had suffered for it. You shall judge. He thrusts me himself into the company of 3 or 4 gentlemen like dogs under the Duke's table. He had not been there, bless the mark, a pissing while, but all the chambers smelt him. What Kerr is that? Says one. Whip him out, says a third. Hang him up, says the Duke. I, having been acquainted with the smell before, knew it was crab. And I goes to the fellow that whips the dogs. Friend, quoth I, you mean to whip the dog? Aye, marry, do I, quoth he. You do him the more wrong, quoth I. 'Twas I that did the thing you wot of. He makes me no more ado, but whips me out of the chamber. How many masters would do this for their servant? Nay, I'll be sworn I have sat on the stocks for puddings he hath stolen, otherwise he had been executed. I have stood on the pillory for geese he hath killed, otherwise he had suffered for it. Well, thou thinkest not of this now. Nay, I still remember the trick you served me when you took my leave of Madam Silvia. Did not I bid thee mark me and do as I do? When didst thou see me heave at my leg and make water against a gentlewoman's farthingale? When didst thou see me do such a trick?
Sebastian is thy name. I like thee well, and will employ thee in some service presently.
In what you please, I'll do what I can.
Well, I hope thou wilt. How now, you whoreson peasant? Where have you been these 2 days loitering?
Marry, sir, I carried Mistress Silvia the dog you bade me.
And she received my dog?
No, indeed she did not. Here have I brought him back again.
What? Didst thou offer her this from me?
Well, sir, the other squirrel was stolen from me by the hangman boys in the marketplace, and then I offered her mine own. It was a dog as big as 10 of yours, and therefore the gift the greater.
Go, get thee hence, and find my dog again. Away, I say. Stayest thou to vex me here? A slave that still an end turns me to shame? Sebastian, I have entertained thee, partly that I have need of such a youth that can with some discretion do my business. Take this ring with thee. Deliver it to Madam Silvia. She loved me well, delivered it to me.
It seems you loved not her to leave her token. She is dead, belike?
Not so, I think she lives.
Alas.
Why dost thou cry alas?
I cannot choose but pity her.
Wherefore shouldst thou pity her?
Because methinks that she loved you as well as you do love your Lady Silvia. She dreams of him that has forgot her love. You dote on her that cares not for your love. 'Tis pity love should be so contrary, and thinking of it makes me cry, alas.
Well, give her the ring, and therewithal this letter. Tell my lady I claim the promise of her heavenly picture. That's her chamber. Your message done, hie home unto my chamber.
How many women would do such a message? Alas, poor fool, why do I pity him that with his very heart despiseth me? Because he loves her, he despiseth me. Because I love him, I must pity him. This ring I gave him when he parted from me, to bind him to remember my goodwill, and now am I, unhappy messenger, to plead for that which I would not obtain, to carry that which I would have refused, to praise his faith, which I would have dispraised. I am my master's true confirmed love, but cannot be true servant to my master, unless I prove false traitor to myself. Yet, will I woo for him? But yet so coldly, as heaven it knows, I would not have him speed. A gentlewoman, good day. I pray you be my mean to bring me where to speak with Madam Silvia.
What would you with her, if that I be she?
If you be she, I do entreat your patience to hear me speak the message I am sent on.
From whom?
From my master, Sir Proteus, madam.
Ah, he sends you for a picture.
Aye, madam.
Go. Give your master this. Tell him from me, one Julia, that his changing thoughts forget, would better fit his chamber than this shadow.
Madam, please you peruse this letter. Oh, pardon me, madam. I have unadvised delivered you a paper I should not.
I pray thee, let me look on that
It
again.
may not be, madam. Pardon me.
There, hold. I will not look upon your master's lines. I know they are stuffed with protestations and full of new-found oaths, which he will break as easily as I do tear his paper.
Madam, He sends your ladyship this ring.
Though his false finger have profaned the ring, mine shall not do his Julia so much wrong.
She thanks you.
What sayest thou?
I thank you, madam, that you tender her.
Dost thou know her?
Almost as well as I do know myself. To think upon her woes, I do protest, I must have wept 100 several times.
Belike she think that Proteus hath forsook her.
I think she doth, and that's her cause of sorrow.
Is she not passing fair?
She hath been fairer, madam, than she is. When she did think my master loved her well, she in my judgment was as fair as you. But since she did neglect her looking-glass and threw her sun-expelling mask away, the air hath starved the roses in her cheeks and pinched the lily tinge of her face, that now she is become as black as I.
How tall was she?
About my stature. For at Pentecost, when all our pageants of delight were played, our youth got me to play the woman's part, and I was trimmed in Madame Julia's gowns, which served me as fit, by all men's judgments, as if the garment had been made for me. Therefore I know she is about my height. Madam, 'twas Ariadne passioning for Theseus' perjury and unjust flight, which I so lively acted with my tears, that my poor mistress, moved therewithal, wept bitterly. And would I might be dead, if I in thought felt not her very sorrow.
She is beholding to thee, gentle youth. Alas, poor lady, desolate and left. I weep myself to think upon thy words. Here, youth. There is my purse. I give thee this for thy sweet mistress' sake, because thou lovest her. Farewell.
And she shall thank you for it, if e'er you know her. A virtuous gentlewoman, mild and beautiful. I hope my master's suit will be but cold, since she respects my mistress's love so much. Alas, how love can trifle with itself. Here is her picture. Let me see. I think if I had such attire, this face of mine were full as lovely as this is of hers. And yet the painter flattered her a little. Unless I flatter with myself too much. Her hair is auburn, mine is perfect yellow. If that be all the difference in his love, I'll get me such a coloured periwig. Her eyes are grey as glass, and so are mine. But her forehead's low, and mine's as high. What should it be that he respects in her, but I can make respective in myself, if this fond love were not a blinded God? Come, shadow, come and take this shadow up, for 'tis thy rival. Oh, thou senseless form, thou shalt be worshipped, kissed, loved, and adored, and were there sense in his idolatry, my substance should be statue in thy stead. I'll use thee kindly, for thy mistress's sake that used me so. Or else, by Jove, I vow, I should have scratched out your unseeing eyes to make my master out of love with thee.
Saw you my daughter?
Neither.
Why then, she's fled unto that peasant Valentine. Therefore, I pray you, stand not to discourse, but mount you presently, and meet with me upon the rising of the mountain foot that leads towards Mantua, whither they are fled. Dispatch, sweet gentlemen, and follow me.
And I will follow, more for Silvia's love than hate of Eglamour that goes with her.
And I will follow, more to cross that love than hate for Silvia that is gone for love.
How use doth breed a habit in a man? This shadowy desert, unfrequented woods, I better brook than flourishing peopled towns. Here I can sit alone, unseen of any, and to the nightingale's complaining notes, tune my distresses and record my woes. Repair me with thy presence, Silvia, thou gentle nymph. Cherish thy forlorn swain. Withdraw thee, Valentine. Who this comes here?
Madam, this service that I have done for thee, though you respect not aught your servant doth, to hazard life and rescue you from him who would have forced your honour and your love.
How like a dream is this I see and hear? Love, lend me patience to forbear a while.
Oh, miserable, unhappy that I am.
Unhappy were you, madam, ere I came, but by my coming I have made you happy.
By thy approach thou makest me most unhappy.
And me when he approacheth to your presence.
I've been seized by a hungry lion. I would have been a breakfast to the beast rather than have false Proteus rescue me. Oh, heaven be judge how I love Valentine, whose life's as tender to me as my soul.
Oh, 'tis a curse in love and still approved, where woman cannot love where they're beloved.
When Proteus cannot love where he's beloved. Read over Julia's heart, thy first best love, for whose dear sake thou didst then rend thy faith into 1,000 oaths, and all those oaths descended into perjury to love me. Thou hast no faith left now, unless thou'dst two, and that's far worse than none. Better have none than plural faith, which is too much by one, thou counterfeit to thy true faith.
In love, who respects friend?
All men but Proteus!
Nay, if the gentle spirit of moving words can no way change you to a milder form, I will woo you like a soldier at arm's end, and love ye against the nature of love.
Oh, heaven!
Force ye, yield to my desire.
Oh, ruffian, let go of that rude, uncivil touch! Thou friend of an ill fashion!
Valentine.
Thou common friend, that's without faith or love. For such a friend now, treacherous man. Thou hast beguiled my hopes. Naught but mine eye could have persuaded me, Proteus. I am sorry I must trust thee no more, but count the world a stranger for thy sake. The private wound is deepest. O time most accursed, amongst all foes, that a friend should be the worst.
My shame and guilt confounds me. Forgive me, Valentine. If hearty sorrow be a sufficient ransom for offence, I do tender it here. I do as truly suffer as e'er I did commit.
Then I am paid. And once again, I do receive the honest, who by repentance is not satisfied is nor of heaven nor earth for those are pleased. By penitence the eternal wrath's appeased. And that my love may appear plain and free, all that was mine in Silvia, I give thee.
Oh, me unhappy.
Look to the boy.
Why, boy, why, how now? What's the matter? Look up, speak.
Oh, good sir, my master charged me to deliver a ring to Madam Silvia, which out of my neglect was never done.
Where is that ring, boy?
Here, this is it.
How? Let me see. Why, this is the ring I gave to Julia.
Oh, cry you mercy, sir, I've mistook. This is the ring you sent to Silvia.
But how camest thou by this ring? At my depart, I gave this unto Julia.
And Julia herself did give it me. And Julia herself did bring it hither.
How? Julia.
Oh, Proteus, let this habit make thee blush. Be thou ashamed that I have took upon me such an immodest raiment. If shame live in a disguise of love, it is the lesser blot modesty finds men to change their shapes. Then men their minds.
Then men their minds. 'Tis true. Oh, heaven, were a man but constant, he were perfect. That one error fills him with faults, makes him run through all the sins. Inconstancy falls off ere it begins. What is in Silvia's face that I may spy more fresh in Julia's with a constant eye?
Come, a hand from either. Let me be blessed to make this happy close. 'Twere a pity two such friends should long be foes.
Bear witness, heaven, have my wish forever.
And I mine.